guys, I'm Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be chatting February's TBR. This video is going up a little later because I'm recording it a little later. So I just thought I would share some of the books that I am planning to read this month. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book that I have on my TBR is one that I have been meaning to read for a really long time, and that is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 in the Mistborn trilogy, which I began in, I think, October. I think I read the first book in October and then the second book in November. I meant to get to this one in December, and then I meant to get to it in January, but I kept not getting to it, which is a shame because I really love this series. But lately I've been prioritizing library books and trying to make sure I read all the books before they have to go back, and I received this trilogy for Christmas, so I no longer had to prioritize it. So I am trying really hard this year to make sure that I'm reading books on my shelves as well and not only prioritizing library books. Both book 1 and book 2 of the Mistborn trilogy were absolutely 5-star books for me, so I'm really looking forward to reading book 3. So I am participating in a few different reading challenges that are taking place over 2021. I mentioned in earlier videos the Literary Life Podcast Challenge. I'm also trying to do the Scully Sisters 5x5 Challenge, and I'm also doing the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge on Hey Reader, and that is hosted by Chantel over at An Intentional Life. I will link her channel down below, and then I will also link the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. So I technically already read February's prompt, which is a book with a red cover, and that was Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I shared that in my January wrap-up video. So I'm just going to go ahead and do March's prompt, which is a book recommended by a friend, and that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I read The Great Alone at the end of last year by her, and it was really good. It was actually really hard to read. It was a very sad and intense book. Definitely don't recommend to you if you have domestic violence triggers, but I was wanting to read more Kristen Hanna, and literally everyone recommended The Nightingale. I think this is the story of two sisters during World War II. It's supposed to be heartbreaking in true Kristen Hanna fashion. Other than that, I really don't know much, but I'm looking forward to reading it. The next book on my list is a nonfiction book, and that is The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. I have been trying to prioritize reading more spiritual books this year. I tend to read only for the escapism and the story and world building and all those things that I just love so much about escaping into books. But I really want to be reading more nonfiction this year, in particular nonfiction that really uplifts me and help me to love and serve the Lord better. And I have never read any of Tozer's works, but he's a pretty famous Christian author. I don't know if he counts as a theologian, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. The next book on my list is a classic, and that's Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I have been really wanting to reread some Jane Austen when I was a teenager. I read most of her books in a very short amount of time because I really loved them. And I remember Sense and Sensibility being my favorite. So I wanted to reread it and see if it's still my favorite. And I figured, what better month to read a classic Jane Austen romance than February? So I'm really looking forward to re-diving back into this one. I have a massive book that has like 7 Jane Austen novels in it, but I recently bought this Paper Mill Press copy. I think it's got a bookmark too, so that way it's a little bit more manageable because the other book is so heavy. So this will hopefully be more comfortable. The next book on this list is a middle grade book, and it was recommended by Chantel over at An Intentional Life, and that is Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen. I am forever looking for good middle grade fiction for my daughter. She's 8 years old. So some of the books that are more towards the upper end of middle grade are a little too intense for her. So I am going to give this one a whirl and see, but I believe it is supposed to be kind of, Aggie Morton is supposed to be Agatha Christie, so it's very Agatha Christie-esque in the way that it is laid out. And I believe this boy here, I don't know his name. Let me look. Hector Poirot, or Poirot, I guess. And obviously he's supposed to be Hercule Poirot. And I think her grandmother is supposed to be patterned off of Jane Marple. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's really going to be fun. I am a huge Agatha Christie fan, so I'm looking forward to diving into this one. The next book on this list is a beast, and it is The Aeronauts Windlass by Jim Butcher. I've never read any Jim Butcher before. I've heard good and bad things about the Dresden Files. Not a big noir detective-y kind of person, and I think that's kind of the feel of them, along with fantasy, so not really sure that that's for me, but this is more high fantasy, I think. Don't really know a whole lot about what this is about. I know it takes place on some sort of ship with a captain. Again, don't know much more than that. This book was highly recommended by Murphy Napier. This sounded really intriguing, so I figured I would give it a try. The last book on my February TBR is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is the same author of The Book Thief, which I guess you could see right there, it says it, which I have not read in a few years, but I do own, and I really enjoyed that book. Bridge of Clay, I believe, follows some brothers. I don't really know much more about it than that, but it is, I think, one of the favorite books of Call Me After Coffee, so I will link her channel in the description below as well. But I figured since I had already tried this author and she just raved about how amazing this book is and how much she's loved it every single time she's reread it, I figured I should give it a try. Alright, so here is my book stack for February. I didn't choose as many books this month as I have in previous months because a lot of these books are kind of thick, so I think they will take longer for me to get through. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I have other books laying around in case I do get through all of these or I DNF any of them or whatever, but it's my plan to read these this month. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have read any of these videos or you have other recommendations of books that you think I might like, please leave them in the comments below. Are there any particular books that you are planning on reading in February? Anything that kind of fits the mood of cozy winterness or romantic in any way because of Valentine's Day? Let me know in the comments and let's chat. If you liked this video, please hit like and also subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.